Welcome back to this second part of this weekly macro special. So Macro Monday part 2. So I'm currently loading the images that we've taken from the daffodil and the tulip onto Lightroom. There are other editing suites out there. You don't have to use Lightroom or Photoshop, but that's what I've chosen to use. So they're just building the previews now. I'm going to go through the images and I'm going to pick out 2 daffodils and 2 tulips that are what I think is the sharpest, hence the glasses. So I can't see nothing unless I do, unless I wear them. So I'm going to pick those out, and then I'm going to put the screen up on the computer and show you how I'm going to edit them. Now then, there are many ways of editing. I'm not the best editor in the world. It doesn't really matter. I edit to please me, and as long as the image looks right and I'm not deceiving, then that's good enough for me. So please, in the comments, you could have done this, you could have done that. I'm sure there's plenty of things I could have done, or couldn't have, or shouldn't have done. So yeah, first time I've done anything like this. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so I've chosen 2 of each. They want a little bit of work. I noticed there's a little black dot on one of the petals on the daffodil. But like I say, it's the first time I've done this, so bear with me, okay? So daffodil first. You notice they're both about the same, but I've got this black dot up here. So to get rid of that, I'm going to the develop module. I'm going to go with the second image that I've chosen. I'm going to zoom in on that part, just drag it down. I'm going to go up to this part here, the spot removal tool. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to bring it down to just over the size of what it is, and click. I'm just going to move that around a little bit more just to get a better match, and that looks much better than what they've chosen to do for me. So just come out, and now you can see that it's gone. There's a bit of a shine here, but we'll leave that for now. So I think we're pretty sharp, as you can see, and you can see all the details and all the centre of the daffodil just there. So I'm just going to lift the exposure just a little bit. I'm going to boost the contrast because I'm trying to get rid of this area just here. This is one of the photos that I took without the sheet, so you can see behind it. Unfortunately, the ones that I held with the sheet behind it didn't come out that sharp, so I'm having to deal with this. So I'm going to boost the contrast a little bit more, up the exposure a little bit more, to about 70. And drop them shadows down. That'll black this out a little bit more. So we'll make it I'll get rid of a bit more of the background as well if I do that. Just have that tip just inside this one here. You don't want to be cutting off any petals, and this one's okay at the bottom. So it's just about okay. That only leaves us this little bit, which isn't going to be too distracting, I don't think. So we're good with that. Okay, so what else? Let's see if we can up the clarity a little bit. That always makes it a tad sharper as well. Dehaze button, don't think we need that. Well, can certainly have a play about with that to come up with some interesting different scenarios, and this does black out the background quite well. We'll leave it alone for now. A little bit of vibrance, just a touch of saturation, just a little bit, and already you can sort of see the difference between the two. This one's much brighter. And we'll work our way down. Going to add a little bit of yellow saturation. I want to make that yellow pop, and a little bit of orange saturation, about the same amount. I'm not going to worry about the greens because they're sort of fading away into the background there. Make that luminance, that orange just pop out of the centre there. That's actually reducing this little bit of a glow in the middle. So I think about 50-ish, 49, there we go. And the yellow just lightens it up in the centre there. That's actually quite nice. Now the sharpening, don't think we need much in the way of sharpening. I'm going to come down to this bit just here and see if we can't just sharpen it just a fraction. And I'll just mask that a little bit. A little bit of noise reduction, just to clean the image up just a little bit, because remember we're going to print this, just to show how good a print you can get from a reversing ring. So we're going to reduce that noise a little bit more. Oh, look at that, a bit close up. Okay, so check that on the full screen. Is that another black dot just there? Another one just there that we've got to get rid of. Reduce that to just over the size of the actual mark, so as you're doing as little as possible. And yeah, Lightroom's done that quite nicely. So we can come out of that, that's all nice and clean. Just going to check, there's another one there, look, so you're good to check around. You don't want any spots distracting or anything like that. These are very simple cleanups to do. Another one there. This is stuff that you just wouldn't see when you're taking the photo, so very easily got rid of. And I can't see anything else there that's too distracting. I think that's just a really nice, just up the exposure just a little bit more, I think. It's a bit dark. And then you've got your before and afters. So that's a daffodil. I think I've gone on for long enough. So that's a daffodil. So we're going to move quickly on to the centre of the tulip. Now both of these are actually really quite sharp. It's this part that we're obviously interested in, and you can see that there's quite a big shadow all around here, so we're going to try and lighten up the shadows. So on this one I think I'm just going to see what Lightroom suggests that we can do, and straight away it's made the image so much better already. Don't always use the auto button, but it can give you really nice results. I've already seen a black dot I need to get rid of, so just over the size of that, clean that up a little bit, and that's a much cleaner image. I don't think I'm going to worry about all these little dots here, because I think it's coming off of these parts anyway. And there you zoom in and you can actually see how sharp the image actually is using a reversing ring. It's every bit as good as a macro lens itself. What does that look like? That don't look too bad actually. So I'm going to increase the contrast quite a bit to what it suggests. I'm actually going to warm this one up a little bit as well. I'm going to up them shadows a little bit more, so as you get this sort of coming out a little bit. I'm going to up the clarity, that always adds sharpness. Is that a little dot there? That was a bit distracting. I'm going to remove that one. That's better. I'm going to saturate the oranges and the yellows a little bit, and that's brought that much different now that I see the difference. It's much lighter and this centre is much more predominant. I would like to get these a little bit brighter. And the blacks, so we can lift the blacks a little bit. There we go. That's more like it. And just add a bit more contrast back in. And then we can go down and see if we can add just a little bit of sharpness to these. Just to sharpen them up just a little bit. Come back out. And there you can see completely different to what you took. Now, I think actually I'm quite happy with that. I think I will get rid of a few of these little spots here and there, just to clean the image up a little bit. Not too much, but it does just tidy it up a bit. Just move some of these as well. And yeah, let's just tidy it up just a little bit. I don't want to lose them all because they're part of the photo. In fact, there's two more that I've just spotted at the top there that are quite distracting, so I'm going to get rid of those as well. I mean, you don't have to do this. But I think it just sort of takes away any distractions from the image. Probably editing these a little bit more than what I normally would, and that's a nice clean area now. See, we're only going to print these in A4. I don't think we get away with printing them in A3, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think they look right in A3, so probably A4, I'll say in that. Yeah, probably in A4. So yeah, I think that's the editing side of it done. Maybe make this one just a little bit brighter. I don't want to be too dark. Let me just check on that one again. We're going to just make this one just a bit brighter as well, just to up the exposure a little bit. You could have a sort of 6 or 7 second exposure on your photograph if you'd have wanted to. But I think the more you have your exposure open, stuff like that, I think you've got more chance of it moving or something like that. So try and keep it to an absolute minimum. Yeah, and looking around those, I think these will print really quite nicely. So let's start with the daffodil. Print through Lightroom. So now we can pull in the margins. I usually pull in the margins 50 on all sides. Apart from the bottom, which I do was 1. So that's the first one. Into the print. Exactly the same thing. Zoom to fill. Remember, this is A4. I think we're ready to get those printed. Okay, so that's the prints. I mean, don't get me wrong, these aren't award-winning prints, but why I wanted to print them off was to show you that you can get good enough prints from a reversing ring. You don't have to buy a macro lens. To be fair, when you consider you're using a reversing ring, there's plenty of bits that I could have done to it, little spots here and there that I could have taken out, could have made it a little tiny bit sharper maybe, but I think that's a really nice clean looking image of the centre of a daffodil. And the same again for the centre of the tulip. Could have tidied it up a little bit more maybe and made it a little bit more sharper, maybe added a bit more contrast, but on the whole I think you'll agree that that's not a bad image from a reversing ring and a kit lens. So it just goes to show that you can do it. So anyway, I've babbled on for more than long enough. Hope you've enjoyed it. Something a bit different for the channel. Please leave comments down below if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, then we probably won't do it again. But I really like the concept of showing you what I'm doing on screen. So I hope you've enjoyed it for the third time. Give it a thumbs up, give it a share, give it a like, and if you haven't yet subscribed, then please consider doing so. If you have liked this, let me know and we'll look at doing some more editing, proper images if you like, of landscapes and stuff I do when I go out and about. I'd like to say a big congratulations to Rick Higgins, who won my little competition that I ran a few weeks ago. His name was picked out, and if you'd like to see that video, I'll put a link to it up here. I'd also like to say a big thanks to all the new subscribers that have turned up in the last few weeks. The channel's growing quite nicely. Really enjoy making the videos. Coming weeks off to the coast, I've actually got a little collaboration lined up in a couple of weeks hopefully, and plenty more Macro Mondays coming your way over the next few weeks. There's no sign of them slowing down anytime soon. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you Monday. Bye for now.